Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about an STI that 80% of sexually active people will get at some point in their lives, but most won't even know they have it. I'm talking about HPV, Human Papillomavirus. Now, before you click away thinking, this doesn't apply to me, hear me out. HPV doesn't discriminate, it doesn't care about your age, relationship status, or how clean you think you are. It's incredibly common and often completely silent. By the end of this video, you'll learn the 6 sneaky signs your body might be hiding HPV, how this silent virus can lead to cancer years later, and what you can do today to protect yourself. And trust me, that last one will shock you. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the most common symptom of HPV, absolutely nothing. You heard that right. Most people with HPV experience 0 symptoms. That's part of the reason it's so widespread. You could be infected and pass it on without ever knowing. Think about that for a second. No itching, no burning, no weird discharge. The virus can silently set up shop in your system, completely undetected. This is why regular checkups and screenings are so crucial, but we'll get to that later. This silent spreader situation is why HPV is considered the most common STI. It's estimated that nearly every sexually active person will contract some form of HPV in their lifetime. But here's the good news. Our bodies are amazing at fighting off infections. In about 90% of cases, our immune systems clear HPV within 2 years, no harm done. However, in that other 10%, HPV can linger. And that's when the potential for problems arises. It's like a ticking time bomb, silently waiting to cause trouble. So even if you feel perfectly fine, don't assume you're in the clear. Knowledge is power, and understanding the sneaky nature of HPV is the first step to protecting yourself. When people think of HPV, they often think of genital warts. But here's the catch. Not all HPV strains cause warts. Some high-risk strains can lead to other, less obvious symptoms. One of these sneaky signs is the appearance of flat lesions. These lesions can appear on the cervix, penis, anus, or even in the throat. And unlike their bumpy counterparts, these lesions are often painless and barely noticeable. Imagine this. You're going about your day feeling completely fine. You might have a routine checkup scheduled, or maybe you're just feeling proactive about your health. During the examination, your doctor notices something unusual. It could be a small, flat lesion on your cervix during a routine pelvic exam, or perhaps your dentist spots something odd during a regular checkup. These flat lesions are often smooth and the same color as the surrounding skin, making them easy to miss, even for trained professionals. But don't be fooled by their seemingly harmless appearance. These lesions are a red flag, a sign that HPV might be at play. They indicate that the virus is causing changes in the cells, which could potentially lead to precancerous or cancerous growths. So, while these flat lesions might not seem like a big deal, they're definitely something you don't want to ignore. Early detection is key when it comes to HPV-related issues, so if you notice anything unusual, don't hesitate to get it checked out. Ladies, this chapter is especially important for you. Pap smears are your superpower when it comes to fighting HPV. These screenings are designed to detect abnormal cells on the cervix, which could be precancerous. Now, if you've ever received an abnormal pap smear result, you know it can be scary. But knowledge is power, so let's break down what those results actually mean. 2 common abbreviations you might see on your pap smear report are ASCUS and LSIL. ASCUS stands for atypical squamous cells of undetermined significance, while LSIL means low-grade squamous intraepithelial lesion. Don't let these technical terms intimidate you. In many cases, these abnormal results are directly linked to HPV infection. Remember how we talked about the virus causing cell changes? That's what these abbreviations are hinting at. ASCUS is like a yellow flag, signaling that your cells look a little off, but it's not clear why. LSIL, on the other hand, is a stronger indication that HPV might be causing more significant changes in your cervical cells. Here's the kicker. Men don't have a routine HPV test. This means that while women can catch early signs of HPV through pap smears, men often go undiagnosed until symptoms appear, which, as we've discussed, can be too late. So ladies, if you get called back after a pap smear, don't panic. It doesn't automatically mean you have cancer. It just means you need further testing to determine the cause of those abnormal cells and discuss the best course of action with your doctor. We've talked about how HPV can affect the cervix, but did you know it can also impact your throat? That's right, certain strains of HPV can lead to oropharyngeal cancer, which affects the back of the throat, tonsils, and base of the tongue. And here's a scary statistic. HPV-linked throat cancer is on the rise, increasing by a whopping 300% in young adults in recent years. This alarming trend is largely attributed to the increasing prevalence of oral sex. Now, before you swear off intimacy altogether, remember that knowledge is power. Understanding the risks allows you to make informed decisions about your health. One of the most common symptoms of HPV-related throat cancer is a persistent sore throat. We're not talking about the kind of scratchiness you get with a common cold. This is a sore throat that lingers, refuses to go away, and often comes with other troubling symptoms. You might experience difficulty swallowing, ear pain that just won't quit, or even notice a lump in your neck. These are all red flags that should never be ignored. And here's the thing. HPV-related throat cancer doesn't discriminate. While smoking and excessive alcohol consumption increase your risk, even non-smokers and those who drink moderately can develop this type of cancer. So if you have a sore throat that just won't quit, don't brush it off as just a cold. Get it checked out by your doctor, especially if you have other risk factors like a history of HPV or multiple sexual partners. Let's talk about a topic that's often whispered about but rarely discussed openly: infertility. It's a sensitive issue that affects millions of couples worldwide, and emerging research suggests that HPV might play a role in some cases. Now, before we dive in, it's important to note that HPV is not the sole cause of infertility. Many factors can contribute to difficulties conceiving, and more research is needed to fully understand the link between HPV and infertility. However, studies have shown a possible connection between HPV and unexplained infertility, particularly in women. This means that even if you're young, healthy, and haven't experienced any other HPV-related symptoms, the virus could be silently impacting your reproductive health. How does this happen? Well, researchers believe that HPV might interfere with the delicate process of fertilization and implantation. The virus could potentially affect the quality of eggs, disrupt the environment of the uterus, or even hinder the ability of a fertilized egg to implant. This is a relatively new area of research, and more studies are needed to confirm these findings. However, the possibility of HPV impacting fertility is a significant concern, especially considering how common the virus is. So, if you've been struggling to conceive and haven't been able to pinpoint the cause, it might be worth talking to your doctor about HPV testing. Early detection and management of the virus could potentially improve your chances of getting pregnant. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the silent nature of HPV to its potential to cause cancer and even impact fertility. But there's one more surprising connection I want to discuss: the link between HPV and autoimmune diseases. Now, this is a relatively new area of research, and scientists are still unraveling the complexities of this relationship. However, emerging evidence suggests that high-risk HPV strains might trigger autoimmune reactions in some people. Think of it this way. Your immune system is like your body's security guard, constantly on the lookout for invaders like viruses and bacteria. When it detects a threat, it launches an attack to neutralize the intruder and protect you from harm. In the case of HPV, your immune system recognizes the virus as foreign and mounts a defense. However, in some cases, this immune response can go awry. Instead of just targeting the virus, the immune system starts attacking healthy cells and tissues, mistaking them for enemies. This is the hallmark of an autoimmune disease, where the body essentially turns against itself. And while the exact mechanisms are still being investigated, studies have shown a potential link between high-risk HPV strains and autoimmune conditions like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. For example, research has found that people with lupus are more likely to have been exposed to HPV than those without the disease. Similarly, studies have shown an increased prevalence of HPV infection in individuals with rheumatoid arthritis. While more research is needed to establish a definitive causal link, these findings suggest that HPV might play a role in triggering or exacerbating certain autoimmune diseases. Outro, if this video scared you, good. Fear can save your life. We've covered a lot of scary stuff today, but knowledge is power. Now that you're aware of the silent dangers of HPV, you can take steps to protect yourself and your loved ones. We'll discuss those steps in detail in a future video. So, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. In the meantime, remember that HPV is incredibly common, but it's not invincible. Smash that like button if you learned something new, subscribe for more no BS health tips, and share this with someone you care about. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.